The Welcome to Millbrook, Pennsylvania sign looked exactly the same as it did 13 years ago. Faded green paint, bullet holes from bored teenagers, population frozen at 3,847. I gripped the steering wheel of my Mercedes tighter than necessary. My phone buzzed. Trevor Walsh, my general manager. Miss Burns, the Pittsburgh property appraisal came back. They're accepting our offer. Hotel number 7. I should have felt victorious. Email me the contracts. I'll review them tonight. I hung up before he could ask questions. My team thought I was taking the weekend off. What I hadn't told them was that I was driving back to the town I'd sworn I'd never return to, wearing jeans and boots that cost more than my first car, to visit a family who still thought I was nobody. The last time I'd been on this road was 2 years ago. February 14th, 2022. My father's funeral. I didn't make it. My flight from Boston got delayed 3 hours. By the time I arrived at Patterson's funeral home, the service was over. The parking lot was empty, except for Roland's Toyota Camry. I found my brother standing in the viewing room. He didn't hug me. Mom was looking for you. Where were you? My flight was delayed. You should have taken an earlier one. And there it was. 2 minutes back, and I'd already failed. Now, driving past the old Henderson farm, I realized nothing had changed. I was still the daughter who came in second. My phone buzzed. My mother. Estelle. Roland's engagement party is tomorrow at 7 p.m., some fancy hotel in the city. You're still coming, right? Not how are you? Just confirmation I'd fulfill my obligation. Me. I'll be there. Estelle. Try to dress appropriately. Roland's fiancé comes from a very nice family. Don't embarrass us. Message received. I pulled over and called Isaiah Brooks, my best friend since we were both homeless 13 years ago. Please tell me you've changed your mind, he answered. I can't. You literally own the hotel where this party is happening. You could cancel the whole thing. They don't know I own it. Which is insane. You've been sending them money for 4 years, Beth. Money your mother thinks is coming from Roland. I know. So why go back? Because he's my brother, and if this woman is wrong for him, then let him figure it out. I'm going to save him anyway. Isaiah sighed. Remember who you are now, not who they made you feel like you were. After we hung up, I pulled out the folder Katie Reynolds had sent me. My forensic accountant was worth every penny. Victoria Ashford, 29 years old, daughter of Gregory and Lillian Ashford. On paper, she looked perfect, but Katie had found holes. A LinkedIn profile only 3 years old, a college degree from a school with no record of her, references that didn't check out, nothing concrete, just enough to make me uneasy. I looked at myself in the rearview mirror. Designer jeans, worn boots, leather jacket that cost $2,000 but looked vintage. My hair smelled faintly of lavender from my hotel's signature shampoo. I looked like someone who belonged in Millbrook. That was the point. Let them underestimate me. I'd spent 13 years being invisible. I could manage one more night. Ted. The call from Estelle had come 3 weeks ago during a board meeting. Roland is getting engaged. Straight to it. No preamble. That's great. I didn't know he was seeing anyone. He's been dating Victoria for 6 months. She's from a very good family. The engagement party is next month at the Monarch Hotel. My hotel. They were having the party at my hotel. I know the place. Good. And Bethany? Please dress appropriately. Victoria's family is very refined. After she hung up, I called Katie Reynolds. I need you to look into someone. Victoria Ashford. 3 days later, the report landed on my desk. Gregory Ashford had 3 real estate companies, all operating at losses. Lillian Ashford had no employment history. Victoria's background was suspiciously thin. I called my lawyer, Diana Thornton. Gregory Ashford has financial problems, Diana said. They might be desperate, and desperate people do desperate things. Now, checking into the Monarch under a regular reservation, I handed my credit card to Jessica, the night clerk I'd personally hired. Welcome to the Monarch, Ms. Burns. Her eyes widened slightly at my name, but she stayed professional. In my suite, 1,200 square feet of luxury I designed myself, I laid out tomorrow's outfit. Jeans, boots, jacket. Each piece chosen to send a message. I'm still that country girl you can dismiss. Isaiah called. You're really going through with this? Yes. I'm staging an intervention when this is over. After we hung up, I opened Katie's final report. This time there was more. Gregory's real estate empire was smoke and mirrors, properties drowning in debt. 3 previous complaints in other states that had mysteriously disappeared. Lillian had no financial history before 2020. And Victoria, Katie had found an arrest record in Nevada. 2019, fraud charges dropped for insufficient evidence. The name on the arrest report? Vanessa Marie Price. Victoria Ashford might not even be her real name. I called Roland for the first time in 8 months. Beth, everything okay? I wanted to make sure you're happy about the engagement. Silence. That's random. Have you spent much time with her family? A few times. Her dad's really successful in real estate. Look, why are you asking this? I almost told him everything. But what proof did I have? A gut feeling? No reason. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for coming. I know you're busy with, whatever it is you do. Whatever it is I do. My brother had no idea I ran a company. No idea I owned 6 hotels. No idea I'd been supporting our mother for years. And tomorrow, I'd walk into my own ballroom, and he still wouldn't know. Dad. The Monarch Ballroom had never looked better. Crystal chandeliers cast prismatic light across marble floors. White roses and peonies filled the room. The champagne fountains sparkled. I'd approved every detail, signed off on the $150,000 budget. And now I was walking in wearing jeans, about to be judged as the poor relation. I arrived at 7 p.m. exactly. 200 guests filled the room. Nobody greeted me. My mother stood across the room with her friends. Our eyes met. She looked at my outfit and her mouth tightened. Then she turned away. Message received. Roland stood near the champagne fountain with a woman who could only be Victoria. Beautiful in that carefully constructed way. White cocktail dress, Louboutins, jewelry catching the light. But her smile stopped me. Sharp, calculating. She saw me looking, said something to Roland. He glanced my way, raised a hand in half-hearted greeting, then went back to his conversation. I walked to the bar and ordered a drink. Whiskey, neat. The Macallan, 18. The bartender's eyebrows rose. That was a $45 pour. Good choice, he said, recognition in his voice. Trevor had briefed the staff. I found a quiet corner. This was my element. Observing, analyzing, staying ahead. Well, the prodigal daughter returns. Victoria stood beside me, champagne in hand. Up close, even more striking, even more dangerous. You must be Victoria. I'm Bethany. Roland's little sister, I know. The way she said little sounded like an insult. He doesn't talk about you much. I'm glad to finally meet you. I wanted to talk about the wedding. She leaned in. Maybe it would be better if you sat this one out. My parents have a certain image to maintain. Showing up in jeans might send the wrong message. You understand, right? 2 women materialized beside her. Both blonde, both polished. These are my bridesmaids, Amber and Crystal. This is Bethany, Roland's sister. The one from the country, Amber said. Do you still live on a farm? Crystal asked. I grew up in a small town. Close enough, Victoria said. Well, we won't keep you. I'm sure you want to mingle. They walked away, leaving expensive perfume and casual cruelty behind. I took a long drink. The Macallan burned, but it was a good burn. Bethany? A large man with a red face and politician's smile. Gregory Ashford. Mr. Ashford. Call me Gregory. His handshake was too firm. So you're the sister. Roland mentioned you work in hospitality. Front desk? I manage operations. Good for you. Working your way up. He clapped my shoulder like I was a child. I'm impressed with your brother. Very impressed. Roland's a good man. More than good. Very generous with your mother, from what I understand. Sending her money, taking care of things. That's the mark of success. Taking care of family. My blood went cold. I'm sorry? Your mother told my wife how Roland supports her. Very admirable. Gregory's eyes were shrewd. Must be doing quite well to be so generous. There it was. Gregory thought Roland had money. Because of me. Because of the money I'd been sending. Roland is very responsible, I said carefully. Clearly. Well, enjoy the party. I stood there feeling like the floor had dropped away. They thought Roland was rich. They were targeting him because they thought he had money that didn't exist. Money that was actually mine. I texted Katie. Need full financial workup on Gregory Ashford. Everything. Tonight. Then Trevor. Service entrance. Now. I made my way through the crowd, past my mother who wouldn't look at me, past Roland absorbed in Victoria, past the decorations I'd paid for. Trevor waited in the service corridor. The Ashfords think my family has money, I said. They think Roland has been supporting my mother. Trevor's eyes widened. But you... I know. My mother's been bragging about Roland's generosity. So they think they're marrying into money that doesn't exist. Exactly. Which means when they find out, they'll destroy your brother trying to get what they think he has. We stood in silence, party sounds muted through the walls. What do you want to do? Trevor asked. I thought about Victoria's cruel smile, Gregory's calculating questions, my mother giving my inheritance to a stranger, Roland, oblivious and happy, about to marry someone who saw him as a mark. I want to know everything about them, I said. Every secret, every lie. And then I'm going to save my brother whether he wants me to or not. And after that? I smiled, but it wasn't kind. After that, I'm going to show them exactly who the country girl really is. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat in my suite with my laptop, 3 phones, and a growing sense of dread as Katie's reports came in piece by piece. At 2 a.m., she sent the first bombshell. Katie, Gregory Ashford owes $340,000 to Atlantic City casinos. Multiple threats from loan sharks. He's desperate. At 3 a.m., the second. Katie, found Victoria's arrest record. Nevada, 2019. Real name, Vanessa Marie Price. Fraud charges dropped after victim withdrew complaint. Victim later reported being threatened. At 4 a.m., the third. Katie, Lillian Ashford has no financial history before 2020. It's like she didn't exist. Still digging. I stared at my phone screen until the words blurred. My brother was about to marry a con artist, a professional one, with a criminal record and a fake identity. I needed to warn him, but I also needed proof he couldn't dismiss. At 6 a.m., I finally dozed off for an hour. When I woke, I had 17 missed calls from Isaiah and 1 text from my mother. Estelle, brunch at the hotel restaurant. 11 a.m. Victoria wants to get to know you better. Right, because last night went so well. I showered, dressed in the same jeans and boots, and went downstairs. The Monarch's restaurant, Ashford's ironically named before I bought the property, was doing brisk Sunday brunch business. My staff had it running perfectly. I spotted my mother immediately. She sat at a corner table with Lillian Ashford, both women leaning close in conversation. Victoria wasn't there yet. As I approached, I caught the tail end of their discussion. So generous of him, Lillian was saying. You must be very proud. I am, Estelle said. Roland has always been responsible. Ever since his father passed, he's made sure I don't want for anything. My stomach twisted. There it was. My mother, bragging about Roland's generosity. Generosity that was actually mine. Bethany! Estelle's voice was falsely bright. You're late. I checked my phone. 10:58 a.m. I'm early, actually. Well, sit down. Victoria should be here any moment. I sat across from Lillian, who studied me with tired eyes. Up close, I could see the fine lines of stress around her mouth, the way her fingers trembled slightly as she lifted her coffee cup. This wasn't a woman enjoying her daughter's engagement. This was a woman under enormous pressure. It's nice to meet you properly, Mrs. Ashford. Please call me Lillian. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Victoria has told me so much about you. I bet she had. All good things, I hope. Lillian's smile flickered. Of course. Victoria arrived 10 minutes later, breezing in like she owned the place. She wore tennis whites. Apparently she'd been playing at the country club, and looked disgustingly fresh for someone who'd been drinking champagne until midnight. Sorry I'm late? She kissed her mother's cheek, ignored me entirely, and sat down. The match ran long. Bethany, you play tennis? No. Oh, well, it's never too late to learn. She said it like she was offering charity. Though I suppose it's expensive. The club membership alone is— Victoria, Lillian said quietly. Perhaps we should order— Something in her mother's tone made Victoria pause. Just for a second her mask slipped, and I saw something cold flash in her eyes. Then the sugar-sweet smile was back. Of course, I'm starving. During brunch, I watched them. Really watched them. The way Lillian flinched when Victoria raised her voice. The way she kept glancing at her phone with barely concealed anxiety. The way my mother, oblivious to the undercurrents, chattered about wedding plans. We were thinking June, Victoria said. 6 weeks from now. Small ceremony. Just close family. 6 weeks? I said. That's fast. When you know, you know. Victoria's smile was sharp. Besides, there's no point in waiting. Roland and I are perfect together. How did you two meet? I asked. At a charity gala. I was volunteering. He was there with friends. It was love at first sight. Which charity? Victoria blinked. I'm sorry? Which charity was it? I might know it. A flicker of irritation crossed her face. The Children's Education Fund. Why? Just curious. I like to support good causes. How generous. On a hotel manager's salary. There it was again. The casual dismissal. The reminder that she thought I was beneath her. I smiled. I manage my money carefully. After brunch, I excused myself to use the restroom. On my way back, I passed the hallway leading to the service entrance. That's when I heard Gregory's voice, tight with stress. I don't have it yet. Give me 2 more weeks. I stopped, pressing myself against the wall. The wedding is in 6 weeks. I'll have access to their accounts after that. I know what you'll do if I don't pay. That's why I'm doing this, isn't it? Silence while he listened. The Johnson family is loaded. The son has been taking care of them for years. Once we're family, I can borrow against their credit. Yes, I'm sure. We've seen the bank statements. My heart stopped. Bank statements? 2 weeks. I just need 2 weeks. The engagement party showed they trust us. After the wedding, we can— I pulled out my phone and started recording. Gregory continued, not knowing I was there. Look, Dimitri, I know I owe you, but this score is big, really big. Enough to pay you back and then some. No, they have no idea. The girl is clueless, the mother is a gossip, and the son is so in love he can't see straight. He hung up. I heard his footsteps approaching and quickly ducked into a side hallway. He passed by, his salesman's smile sliding back into place like a mask. I stood there, recording in hand, and called Diana. I have him on tape admitting to a con, but Diana, he mentioned bank statements. They've seen proof that the Johnson family has money. But your family doesn't— Exactly. Which means someone gave them false information. Someone showed them financial documents that don't belong to Roland. Could they have hacked his accounts? Roland barely uses online banking. No, this is something else. I thought for a moment. Diana, can you trace where they might have gotten this information? I'll try. But Bethany, if they think your brother has money he doesn't have, and they're in debt to someone named Dimitri, they're going to bleed him dry and disappear. Or worse. Loan sharks don't like being disappointed. I hung up and headed back to my suite. I needed to figure out how the Ashfords got their information, and I needed to do it before they destroyed my brother's life. At 9 p.m., Katie called. You need to sit down for this. I was already sitting, surrounded by documents and empty coffee cups. Just tell me. Vanessa Marie Price, born 1994 in Ohio. Mother was an addict, father unknown. Dropped out of college at 19. First scam was in 2016. She convinced a boyfriend to loan her $30,000, then disappeared. That's not enough for fraud charges. No, but here's where it gets interesting. In 2017, she started working at a casino in Atlantic City. Guess who was a regular there? Gregory Ashford. Bingo. He was already in debt, already being threatened. Security footage shows them talking multiple times. Then in 2018, they both left town. Started showing up in different cities as father and daughter. They're not related? Not even close. Vanessa's parents are both dead. Gregory and Lillian Ashford have been married since 1998. But get this, they have a real son. Kevin Ashford, 25, currently attending medical school at UCLA. He has no idea what his parents are doing. My mind raced. So Vanessa and Gregory are partners. They targeted my brother together. It's worse than that. I found records of 3 previous engagements. Boston in 2021. She got engaged to a guy named Michael Stevens. His family loaned them $85,000 for a business investment. She disappeared the day after the wedding. Jesus. Chicago 2022. David Liu, $120,000. Same pattern. Denver 2023. Thomas Wright. He got suspicious and hired a private investigator. They vanished before the wedding. And now Roland. But here's what I don't understand. How did they know to target him? Your brother isn't exactly high profile. That was the question I'd been asking myself. Keep digging. There has to be a connection. At 11 p.m., Diana called. I traced the bank statements Gregory mentioned. Someone accessed files from Birch Hospitality's financial system 3 months ago. That's impossible. Our security is... The IP address traces to your mother's house in Millbrook. The room tilted. What? Someone used Estelle's computer to hack into your company files. They accessed business account statements, tax records, everything. Then they created fake documents with Roland's name on them. I closed my eyes. Roland mentioned Victoria used Mom's computer once. Said she needed to check her email. That's when she did it. She found files with your name, Bethany Burns, CEO of Birch Hospitality. She probably thought Burns was Roland's last name too, made the connection, and created fake proof that he was funding the family. But our last name is Johnson. You started using Burns professionally, right? For privacy? I had. When I started my company, I'd used my middle name, Burns, as my legal business name. Bethany Burns, CEO. It kept my business life separate from my family, but Vanessa had found the connection, and she'd used it to build a lie. Diana, they think Roland has millions. When they find out he doesn't, they'll either run or they'll destroy him trying to get what they think he has. Either way, your brother ends up ruined. Possibly worse if this Dimitri character gets involved. I hung up and called Isaiah. I know who they are. I know what they're planning. But I need proof Roland will believe. What kind of proof? The kind that shows Victoria is really Vanessa Price. The kind that shows Gregory owes money to dangerous people. The kind that makes it impossible for them to deny. And how do you get that? I thought for a moment. I asked them directly. That's insane. Probably, but I'm doing it anyway. The next morning at 6 a.m., I knocked on Victoria's hotel room door. I knew her room number because Trevor had given it to me. One of the perks of owning the hotel. She opened the door in a silk robe, no makeup, hair messy. Without her armor, she looked younger, more vulnerable. What do you want? No pretense of friendliness now. I know who you are, Vanessa Price. Her face went white, then red, then carefully blank. I don't know what you're talking about. I pushed past her into the room and closed the door. Nevada, 2019. Fraud charges. Michael Stevens in Boston. David Liu in Chicago. Thomas Wright in Denver. Should I continue? She stood frozen for a moment. Then she laughed. Actually laughed. You can't prove anything. I pulled out my phone and showed her Katie's report. Photos of her with 3 different fiancés, court documents, police reports. I can prove everything. She sat down on the bed, mask completely gone now. Without it, she looked tired, desperate. You think I wanted this life? Her voice was different now, harder, more real. You think I enjoy lying to desperate men? Then stop. And do what? Go back to serving drinks while men grab my ass? Sleep in my car because I can't afford rent? I slept in my car for 6 months when I left home. She looked at me with something like respect. And look at you now, working front desk at a hotel, real success story. I let that go. I'm offering you a way out. Leave Roland. Leave town. I won't press charges. And if I don't? Then I'll make sure everyone at that wedding knows exactly who you are. Vanessa studied me for a long moment. Gregory will kill me if I walk away now. Literally. We're in too deep. With Dimitri? Her eyes widened. You know about— I know everything. The gambling debt, the $340,000, the threats. Then you know we don't have a choice. This has to happen. Roland doesn't have money, Vanessa. The bank statements you saw, they're not his. She shook her head. We verified them. Your mother confirmed Roland supports her. We saw the deposits. Those deposits come from someone else. Who? I almost told her. Almost revealed everything right there. But something held me back. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when Gregory tries to access Roland's accounts after the wedding, there won't be anything there. And what do you think Dimitri will do when he finds out? Vanessa's face went pale. He'll think we lied to him. And then? She didn't answer. She didn't have to. I stood. You have until the rehearsal dinner. Leave now and I'll make sure Dimitri knows you weren't involved. Stay and I'll destroy all of you. The rehearsal dinner is in 3 days. I know. I left her sitting there, staring at nothing. In the hallway, my hands were shaking. I'd just threatened a professional con artist. I'd just given them 3 days to disappear. Or 3 days to plan something worse. I called Trevor. I need the AV system ready for the rehearsal dinner, and I need Agent Sarah Mitchell's number. The FBI agent? Yes, it's time to bring in the professionals. Agent Sarah Mitchell arrived at my suite at 2 p.m. She was exactly what I expected. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, no-nonsense demeanor. What I didn't expect was her first question. Why didn't you call us sooner? I needed to be sure. You have a recording of Gregory Ashford discussing fraud. You have evidence of multiple cons across state lines. You have proof of identity theft. Ms. Burns, we've been looking for these people for 2 years. I blinked. You have? Vanessa Price is wanted in 3 states. Gregory Ashford has warrants in 2. We've been tracking them, but they keep moving, changing names, staying ahead of us. Until now. She spread photos on my coffee table. Crime scene photos. Victims. Michael Stevens in Boston lost his life savings. He tried to kill himself after Vanessa disappeared. David Liu in Chicago lost his business. His wife left him. Thomas Wright in Denver was lucky. He figured it out in time. But the family before him? Elderly couple in Phoenix. They lost everything. The husband died of a heart attack 3 weeks after Vanessa took their money. I stared at the photos, feeling sick. Your brother is victim number 7 that we know of, Sarah continued. There are probably more. These people are professionals. They're good at what they do. And they're dangerous. Gregory mentioned someone named Dimitri. Sarah's expression darkened. Dmitry Volkov, Russian loan shark, operates out of Atlantic City. Very violent. Very connected. If Gregory owes him money, he's not walking away alive unless he pays up. Which is why they need Roland. Which is why they'll do anything to get that money. And when they find out it doesn't exist, she didn't finish the sentence. What do you need from me? Let the rehearsal dinner happen. We'll be there, undercover. You expose them publicly. That gives us cause to move in. We arrest them, they lead us to Dimitri, and we shut down his operation. And Roland? Your brother will be safe, angry, heartbroken, probably humiliated, but safe. I nodded slowly. There's one more thing. Lillian Ashford, Gregory's wife. She has a son, Kevin. He's in medical school at UCLA. I think she's being forced into this. Sarah made a note. We'll look into it. If she cooperates, we can protect them both. After Sarah left, I called my team together. Trevor, Diana, Katie, Isaiah, and Harper, my assistant. We gathered in my suite, and I laid out the plan. The rehearsal dinner is in 3 days. Gregory will make a toast. During that toast, Trevor will run a presentation on the screens showing everything we've found. Court documents, photos, evidence. They'll run, Diana said. No, they won't. Agent Mitchell will have agents at every exit. The moment they try to leave, they're arrested. What about Roland? Isaiah asked quietly. That was the question I'd been avoiding. He'll be devastated, humiliated, angry at me for not telling him sooner. But alive, Trevor said. But alive. Katie pulled up her laptop. I have everything compiled. Court filings from Nevada, police reports from 3 states, photos of Vanessa with her previous victims, Gregory's gambling debts, the fake bank statements they created. The fake statements, I said. That's the key. When people see that they doctored financial documents to make it look like Roland had money, they'll understand this was a targeted con. Diana nodded. It shifts the narrative from Roland's fiancé is a criminal to Roland was the victim of a sophisticated scam. Exactly. Harper raised her hand tentatively. What about your mother? She's going to find out you own this hotel, that you've been supporting her. I know. Are you ready for that conversation? No. Yes. We spent the next 2 hours going through every detail. Trevor would handle the AV system. Katie would prepare the documents. Diana would coordinate with Agent Mitchell. Isaiah would be in the control room as backup. Harper would manage logistics. At 6 p.m., they all left. I sat alone in my suite, looking out at the city. My phone buzzed. Roland, Victoria wants me to co-sign a loan for her dad's business. $200K. She says it's a great investment. What do you think? My heart stopped. Me. Don't sign anything yet, please. Roland. Why? What's wrong? Me. Just trust me. Wait until after the rehearsal dinner. Roland, you're being weird. Is this about Victoria asking you not to come to the wedding? Because she apologized for that. She did? That was news to me. Me. It's not about that. Please, Roland, just wait. Roland. Fine, but you're going to explain this at dinner. 3 days. I had 3 days to save my brother, expose a criminal conspiracy, and reveal secrets I'd been keeping for 4 years. I called the one person who always knew what to say. Isaiah. You okay? No, I'm terrified. What if I'm wrong? What if they really love each other, and I'm about to destroy Roland's happiness? Beth, she literally told you she's going to steal his money and disappear. I know, but what if nothing? You have evidence. You have proof. You have the FBI involved. This isn't a gut feeling anymore. This is real. I was quiet for a moment. Are you having second thoughts? Isaiah asked. I'm having all the thoughts. What if Roland hates me after this? What if my mother never forgives me? What if I'm doing this to prove I'm better than them, not to save them? Are you? I don't know anymore. Beth, listen to me. You're not doing this to prove anything. You're doing this because despite everything they've done to you, despite every time they made you feel worthless, you still love them. That's not ego. That's grace. After we hung up, I went to the hotel safe in my room and pulled out my grandmother's necklace. The one my mother had given to Victoria. The one I'd asked Trevor to retrieve after Estelle had mentioned it. I held it in my hands, remembering my grandmother's words. You're going to do great things, Bethany. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I'd done great things. Built an empire. Succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. But none of it had filled the hole that family rejection had left. Maybe it was time to stop trying to fill it. Maybe it was time to just let it be there. Acknowledge it. Accept it. and save my brother anyway. The next morning I went to find Lillian. I found her in the hotel garden, sitting alone on a bench, crying. "Mrs. Ashford?" She looked up, startled. "Oh, I didn't see you." I sat down beside her. "You don't want to do this, do you?" She froze. "I don't know what you mean. I know about Kevin, your real son. Gregory's threatening him, isn't he?" Lillian's face crumpled. "How did you— I can protect you both, but you have to help me stop this." She looked at me for a long moment, tears streaming down her face. "Gregory has evidence that Kevin is involved in drug dealing. It's fake, all of it, but it looks real. If I don't help with this wedding, he'll send it to the medical board. Kevin will lose everything. Agent Sarah Mitchell can protect him. The FBI can make sure Gregory never touches either of you again. And if I testify against Gregory, then you walk away free, you and Kevin both. What do I have to do? Testify at the rehearsal dinner. Tell everyone the truth. About Vanessa, about the Khans, about everything. Gregory will kill me." "No, he won't. He'll be in handcuffs before he can get near you." Lillian was quiet for a long time. Then, "What about Roland? He seems like such a good man. I tried to warn him once, but Victoria caught me." "What did you try to tell him?" "That she wasn't who she claimed to be. But she threatened to hurt Kevin." So I stopped. I took her hand. "It's not too late. You can still save him." She nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll do it. But promise me Kevin will be safe." "I promise." I called Sarah immediately. Within 2 hours, Kevin Ashford was in protective custody, pulled out of his classes at UCLA with a story about a family emergency. He had no idea what was really happening. By evening, everything was in place. The rehearsal dinner was tomorrow night. The evidence was compiled. The FBI was ready. Lillian was cooperating. All I had to do now was wait and hope I was doing the right thing. The rehearsal dinner was supposed to be intimate. 50 guests instead of 200. Close family and friends only. The Monarch's smaller ballroom, decorated in soft golds and creams, felt almost cozy. I arrived at 6:30, half an hour early. Trevor met me at the service entrance. "Everything's ready. The presentation is loaded. Agent Mitchell has 4 agents positioned at the exits, 2 more in the kitchen." "And Lillian?" "She's with Diana in the manager's office. She's terrified, but she's holding it together." I nodded. My hands were shaking. I'd faced down hostile investors, negotiated million-dollar deals, built a company from nothing. But this was different. This was family. Isaiah appeared beside me. "You look like you're going to throw up." "I might. Want me to talk you out of this?" "Can you?" "No, because you're doing the right thing." He squeezed my shoulder. "I'll be in the control room, on your signal." I walked into the ballroom. Guests were already arriving. My mother stood near the entrance with Roland, both of them greeting people. Estelle wore a new dress, probably bought specially for this occasion. Roland looked happy, genuinely happy. In 3 hours, I was going to destroy that happiness. Victoria swept in at 7 sharp, wearing a rehearsal dinner dress that probably cost more than most people's wedding gowns. She saw me and her smile turned predatory. "Bethany, I'm so glad you came. After our conversation the other day, I wasn't sure you would." "Wouldn't miss it." "How sweet. You know, I've been thinking maybe you could sit at the back during the ceremony, just so you're not in the family photos. No offense, but with your style choices, it might look odd." Before I could respond, Gregory appeared. He looked worse than he had at the engagement party. His face was red, his eyes bloodshot, his hands trembling slightly. "Mr. Ashford, you look tired." "Just busy with wedding preparations. So much to do." His laugh was forced. "Say, has Roland mentioned anything to you about that business loan we discussed?" "He mentioned it." "And? Did he seem interested?" "He's thinking about it." Gregory's jaw tightened. "It's time sensitive. The investment opportunity won't wait." I bet it wouldn't. Dimitri probably wouldn't wait either. "I'll mention that to him." Dinner was served at 7:30. I sat at a table in the back with some of Roland's friends from work, people I'd never met. They were polite but uninterested. The country sister who worked at hotels, not worth getting to know. I picked at my food and watched. Victoria and Roland at the head table, looking like the perfect couple. Estelle beaming with pride. Gregory checking his phone every 30 seconds, sweat beading on his forehead despite the air conditioning. And Lillian, sitting very still, very quiet, her eyes meeting mine across the room. At 8:15, Gregory stood up. Time for the toast. Ooh. Trevor caught my eye from the AV booth. I nodded. Gregory tapped his glass. The room quieted. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this beautiful union between my daughter Victoria and her wonderful fiancé, Roland. The screens behind him flickered to life. Right now, they were showing a slideshow of Victoria and Roland. Happy couple at restaurants. Happy couple at the beach. Happy couple living their carefully constructed lie. When Victoria first brought Roland home, Gregory continued, I knew immediately that this young man was special, a man of character, a man of means, a man who takes care of his family. His emphasis on means wasn't subtle. Roland has shown us what true success looks like, not just in career, but in values. And we are honored, truly honored, to welcome him into our family. I pulled out my phone and texted Isaiah one word. Now. The screens flickered. The happy photos disappeared. A document appeared. Official. Court-stamped, legal, State of Nevada versus Vanessa Marie Price case, number 2019 CR 00432, charges. Fraud, identity theft. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. People squinted at the screens, trying to understand what they were seeing. Gregory's smile froze. There must be some technical... The next image appeared. Side-by-side photos. Left, a mugshot. Vanessa Price, dark hair, hollow eyes. Right, Victoria Ashford today. Same face, different packaging. Gasps. Someone's glass shattered on the floor. Victoria stood up, face white. This is fake. This is... The next slide. A timeline. 2021. Michael Stevens, Boston, $85,000. 2022. David Liu, Chicago, $120,000. 2023. Thomas Wright, Denver, $200,000. Attempt failed. 2024. Roland Johnson, Pittsburgh. Target. Turn it off, Gregory shouted, lunging toward the AV booth. Two of Agent Mitchell's men stepped into his path. The slides continued. Gregory's gambling debts, casino records, threats from Dmitry Volkov, court documents showing the Ashfords' real estate empire was a house of cards. Then the final image, the one that made my stomach clench. Side-by-side bank statements. Left, Birch Hospitality business account. CEO, Bethany Burns. Balance, 2.4 M. Right, doctored version with Roland Johnson as account holder. The caption, fraud, financial documents falsified to target victim. The room exploded. Everyone talking at once. Roland sat frozen, staring at the screens like he couldn't process what he was seeing. I stood up and walked to the front. Every eye in the room turned to me. My name is Bethany Burns, I said quietly. The room fell silent. Some of you know me as Roland's little sister, the one who left, the one who was never good enough. I looked at Estelle. She was standing now, hand over her mouth. For 4 years I've been sending money to this family, paying the mortgage, paying medical bills, $5,000 every month. My mother thought it was Roland. She bragged to everyone about her successful son. Estelle's face crumbled. And they heard those stories. I gestured to the Ashfords. They thought they'd found a rich family, but there's no Johnson family fortune. There's only me, Bethany Burns, CEO of Birch Hospitality, owner of 6 hotels, including this one. Stunned silence. And I'll be damned if I let you destroy my brother. Victoria lunged at me. You bitch! You ruined everything! Security caught her before she reached me. She was screaming, makeup running, completely unhinged. You think you're better than me? You got lucky. I had nothing. Nothing. I had nothing too, I said calmly. The difference is, I built something instead of stealing it. The doors opened. Agent Sarah Mitchell walked in with her team, badges visible. Gregory Ashford, Vanessa Price, you're under arrest for wire fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Gregory tried to run. He made it 5 steps before 2 agents tackled him. Lillian, he screamed. Tell them this is all a misunderstanding. Lillian stood up slowly. When she spoke, her voice was steady. My name is Lillian Crawford Ashford. I've been married to Gregory for 26 years. Vanessa Price is not my daughter. She's his partner in a criminal enterprise that's been operating for 7 years. I can provide testimony, documentation, and evidence of at least 12 separate cons. Gregory's face went purple. You traitor! What about Kevin? I'll destroy him. Kevin is safe, Sarah said, in protective custody, and you'll never touch him again. They led the Ashfords out in handcuffs. Victoria was still screaming. Gregory was silent now, defeated. Lillian walked out with her head high, flanked by agents. The guests sat in shocked silence. And Roland. My brother sat with his head in his hands, shoulders shaking. I wanted to go to him, but I couldn't move. Estelle moved first. She walked to me slowly, like she was crossing a minefield. You own this hotel? Yes. You've been paying our bills? Yes. For 4 years? Yes. She stared at me. Then she did something I never expected. She slapped me. The sound echoed in the silent ballroom. How could you? Her voice broke. How could you let me think? Let me tell everyone that Roland. How could you make a fool of me? I didn't make a fool of you, Mom. You did that yourself. Don't you dare. You gave away my inheritance to a stranger. You've spent 4 years bragging about Roland while ignoring me completely. You never once asked how I was doing. Never once wondered if I needed help. You just assumed I was struggling and you didn't care enough to check. Estelle's hand went to her throat. That's not... I didn't... You did. And I paid your bills anyway. Because despite everything, you're still my mother. And I still love you, even when you don't love me back. Estelle started crying, real tears this time. I do love you. I didn't know how. How to what? How to be proud of me? How to acknowledge me? How to treat me like I mattered? Yes, she whispered it. Yes, all of that. We stood there, 2 broken women, finally being honest. Then Roland appeared. His face was destroyed, tear-stained, confused, angry. You knew, he said to me. You knew she was fake, and you didn't tell me. I tried to warn you. You should have told me. Instead, you let me stand up there like an idiot, planning my wedding to a criminal. Would you have believed me? If I'd come to you 3 days ago with this, would you have believed your nobody sister over your perfect fiancé? He had no answer. That's what I thought. So I got proof. Proof you couldn't deny. And I saved you from making the worst mistake of your life. By humiliating me in front of everyone I know? By keeping you out of prison. Gregory was planning to use your name to borrow money from a loan shark named Dmitry Volkov. When he couldn't pay it back, who do you think Dmitry would come after? Roland went pale. I didn't... No, you didn't, because you were too busy falling in love to see the trap. But I saw it, and I stopped it. You're welcome, by the way. And the ballroom had cleared out. Guests fled, desperate to escape the drama. Only a few remained. Trevor, Isaiah, Diana, and my family. Estelle sat at a table, still crying. Roland stood by the windows, staring at nothing. And I stood in the middle of my own ballroom, exhausted. We should talk, Estelle said finally. All of us. Really talk. We moved to a private dining room, just the 3 of us, mother, daughter, son. For a long moment, nobody spoke. I gave away your grandmother's necklace, Estelle said. The one she promised you. I know. She made me promise. When she was dying, she said, give it to Bethany. She's the one who will need it. She's the one who will understand. Estelle's hands twisted in her lap. And I gave it to a stranger instead. Why? Because I was angry. At you for leaving. At your grandmother for always believing in you more than me. At myself for not knowing how to reach you. She looked up. Your father wanted sons. When Roland was born, Clifford finally had what he wanted. I thought if I made Roland perfect, your father would love me more, so I sacrificed you, and I've regretted it every single day since. You never called, never visited, never acted like you regretted it. I didn't think you'd want to hear from me. I waited. For years I waited for you to reach out, to say you were proud, to say you missed me, to say anything. I was proud. God, Bethany, I was so proud. When I got those monthly checks, when the bills were paid, when everything was taken care of, I knew it had to be you. Roland never mentioned sending money. His salary couldn't cover it. But I told everyone it was him anyway, because I was too ashamed to admit my daughter was more successful than my son. Roland flinched. Estelle turned to him. I'm sorry, Roland. I put too much pressure on you. Made you think you had to be perfect. And when Bethany left, I made you think it was your job to fix it. I didn't try to fix it, Roland said quietly. I didn't try at all. I just forgot about her. It was easier that way. He looked at me. I'm your big brother. I was supposed to protect you. Instead, I let Mom treat you like you didn't matter. I never stood up for you. Never asked how you were doing. Never cared if you were okay. And when you came to Dad's funeral late because your flight was delayed, I made you feel guilty instead of asking if you needed support. His voice broke. I'm a terrible brother. You're not terrible. You're just human, flawed, like all of us. You sent us money for 4 years. You paid off the house. You took care of Mom when I should have been doing it. And I took credit for it. You didn't know. I should have known. I should have wondered where the money was coming from. But I didn't because I was too busy enjoying feeling like the successful one. We sat in silence again. Can you forgive us? Estelle asked. Someday? I don't know, I said honestly. But I'm willing to try, if you are. I'll spend the rest of my life trying, Estelle said. She reached across the table and took my hand. It was awkward at first. We weren't a family that touched, but then Roland put his hand on top of ours. Family therapy, he said. All of us. Real therapy with a professional. You want to go to therapy? I asked. I need to go to therapy. After this? After almost marrying a con artist? After realizing my entire self-image was built on lies? Yeah, I need serious help. Despite everything, I laughed. Then Estelle laughed. Then Roland. We sat there laughing and crying, 3 broken people finally being honest with each other. I have the necklace, I said finally. Trevor retrieved it after Victoria threw it during her meltdown. It's in my suite. It was always yours, Estelle said. Your grandmother was right about you. You were the dreamer, the fighter, the one who would make something of herself. Later, after Estelle had gone to her hotel room and Roland had left to process everything, I sat with Isaiah on the balcony of my suite. You did it, he said. I destroyed my brother's engagement, exposed my mother's lies, and revealed secrets I'd kept for years. Yeah, I did it. You saved him. He doesn't feel saved right now. He will, eventually. Isaiah handed me a glass of wine. How do you feel? Exhausted, relieved, terrified, sad, hopeful, all of it at once. That sounds about right. We sat in comfortable silence. What happens now? Isaiah asked. Now we heal, or try to anyway. Think it'll work? I don't know, but for the first time in 13 years, we're actually trying. That has to count for something. 10. 6 months later, I stood in my office at the Monarch, looking out at the city skyline. The morning sun streamed through the windows. My phone buzzed. Harper, my assistant. "Your 9 o'clock is here. Send her in." The door opened and a young woman entered. She wore simple clothes, her hair in a practical ponytail, her eyes taking in the elegant office with wonder. "Ms. Burns, I'm Maya Patel. Thank you so much for seeing me. Please sit, and call me Bethany." Maya sat nervously on the edge of the chair. "I still can't believe I got the scholarship. The Burns Opportunity Scholarship. It's going to change my life." "Tell me about yourself, Maya." "I grew up in a small town in Kansas. My father said girls don't need college. I left home at 17 with $150 and a lot of determination. I worked 3 jobs to save enough for community college. And now, because of you, I'm going to Cornell." I smiled. "You remind me of someone." "Who?" "Me." We talked for an hour about her dreams, her fears, her plans. When she left, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope for the future. Not just mine, but others. That evening, I had dinner at my apartment. Not my hotel suite, my actual apartment. The one I'd bought last month when I realized I needed a home, not just a place to work. Estelle was in the kitchen with Roland and his new girlfriend, Sarah. She was a teacher. Normal, genuine, kind. The opposite of Victoria in every way. "Bethany, can you grab the salad?" Estelle called. I brought it to the table. We sat together, the 4 of us, and for the first time it felt natural, not forced. "How was therapy today?" Roland asked Estelle. "Hard. Dr. Morrison asked why I always compared you two. I had to really think about it." "And?" I asked. "And I realized I was competing with my own children for your father's attention. I made you compete with each other because that's what I was doing. It wasn't fair to either of you." Roland reached over and squeezed her hand. "We're working on it, Mom." "We are," she agreed. After dinner, Sarah helped with dishes while Roland and I sat on the balcony. "I heard from Agent Mitchell," he said. "The trial starts next month. Are you ready?" "As ready as I'll ever be. She says Lillian's testimony is damning. Gregory and Vanessa will both get serious time." "Good." "Lillian sent me a letter, apologizing. She said she tried to warn me, but Victoria threatened her son." "I know. Kevin sent me flowers when he found out what happened. He's finishing medical school next spring." "You're still helping them? After everything?" "Lillian made hard choices to protect her child. I understand that now. And Kevin did nothing wrong." Roland was quiet for a moment. "You're a better person than I am." "I'm really not. I just learned that holding grudges takes too much energy." "When did you get so wise?" "Somewhere between sleeping in my car and owning 6 hotels. Actually 7 now. Pittsburgh property closed last week." Roland smiled. "My little sister, the hotel mogul, still can't believe it." "Believe it." Later that night, after everyone had left, I sat alone with a glass of wine and the folder of thank you letters from scholarship recipients. 20 students this year. 20 kids from small towns with big dreams. My phone rang. Isaiah. "How was family dinner?" "Better. Progress." "Roland still in therapy?" "All of us are. Family therapy once a week, individual sessions on our own. It's helping." "And your mom?" "She's trying. Really trying. She asked about my work yesterday. Actually listened when I answered. It's weird and awkward, but it's something." "You proud of yourself?" "Getting there." After we hung up, I walked to my desk and opened the drawer. Inside was the photo Isaiah had mentioned months ago. Me at 18, about to leave Millbrook, scared but determined. I'd written on the back, "You made it, not despite them, but for yourself." Next to it was a new photo, taken last month at family therapy. All 3 of us, awkward smiles, but real ones. We looked like strangers learning to be family again, because that's what we were. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is Lillian. I wanted to thank you for protecting Kevin and for giving me a chance to make things right. You saved my life. I'll never forget that." I replied, You made the hard choice in the end. That takes courage. I looked out at the city lights, at the empire I'd built, at the life I'd created from nothing. People would always try to make you feel small. Let them. While they're busy looking down on you, you'll be too busy rising up to notice. I'd learned that in a small town where I was never enough. I'd carried it through years of struggle. And now, standing in my apartment, surrounded by everything I'd built, I finally understood. Success isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving yourself right. The country girl doesn't smell like hay anymore. She smells like success, ambition, and the sweet scent of validation that comes from within. And that was enough. 1 year later, I stood in the ballroom of the Monarch Hotel. Another event, another celebration. But this time, it was mine. The grand opening of Hotel Number 10, the largest in my portfolio, the crown jewel of Birch hospitality. Estelle stood beside me, wearing a dress I'd bought her, looking proud. Roland was there with Sarah. They'd just gotten engaged, properly this time, to a woman who loved him for who he was, not what she thought he had. Isaiah gave the toast. Diana and Katie cheered. Trevor smiled from the sidelines. And Maya Patel, my first scholarship recipient, stood in the crowd wearing her Cornell sweatshirt, interning at my hotel for the summer. "Speech!" someone called. I took the microphone. "Thank you all for being here. For those who don't know me, my name is Bethany Burns. I grew up in a small town where everyone said I'd never amount to anything. They were wrong. I looked at my family, my real family, the one I'd built and the one I'd rebuilt. This hotel is proof that where you start doesn't determine where you finish. Dream big, work hard, and never let anyone make you feel small. Because you're not." The end.